Ben Mayer, John Clare, Daniel Deusser. And then, I'm afraid, Max Kuhner having 2 fences down. That obviously has a big impact on the Swans' hopes of winning 3 back-to-back rounds and winning the Super Cup. This is what round 1 results look like as it stands now. As mentioned, the Stockholm Hearts, powered by H&M, will be delighted. I was in the warm-up and I heard Olivia Philipparts encouraging the team, pushing the team on, sending out instruction. They jump triple clear. Nicola Philipparts, Marlon Bayer-Johnson and Julian Eppayard all going clear. Riesenbeck, that single fence down for Kobe and Philip Weishout. And then for the Swans, very, very uncharacteristic double faults for Max Kuhner in electric blue. They go to 8. Prague Lions, Count Stars and Scandinavian Vikings make up 4, 5 and 6. And I'm afraid for the Count Stars, they were able to sneak in to the final by the smallest of margins, by the skin of their teeth in that semi into the final. They were first to go, and unfortunately, penalties and fences all round for Sophie Hinnes, Katrin Ackermann and Jana Fredrika Myers-Zimmerman leaves the 2024 GCL winners on 16 penalties. We caught up with Natalie Dean and the Kiss and Cry to get some immediate thoughts.
Not the best start for the Count Stars.
Yeah, I think obviously we're a little bit disappointed. We would love to put clear rounds on the board, but I think a lot can happen. We're the first team to go, and I still think the course is difficult, and there's 2 rounds of big jumping tonight, so I think a lot can change.
Good luck for round 2.
Thank you.
Rosie Turner having a word with Natalie Dean, getting some immediate reaction from the team in Kiss and Cry. Unfortunately, 4, 8 and 4, 16 penalties for the Count Stars leaves them in a very difficult position in that second round. And one might already argue that with teams on double clear 4 and 8, that a score of 16 already takes it out of contention. We also managed to catch up with Jür Frieling after the performance of the Scandinavian Vikings. We saw a couple 8s happening for them too. All 3 riders, in fact, picking up 8, 8 and 8, taking them to 24 penalties. And again, all but over for the Scandinavian Vikings, who probably in essence should be very happy with an appearance in the final. They are a lower ranked team from the standings in the 2024 season. So to get out of the quarterfinal, to get out of the semi, that already will be a major victory for the Scandinavian Vikings and for Gerd Gulliksen. These are the thoughts of Jür Frieling.
Looks a little bit tough out there in round 1.
It was tough, but I should have ridden better.
Talk to me about what riding mistakes are you referring to?
Okay, I think I can both combinations a little bit too fast in. Get one time the jumping in of the combination and one time the jumping out. I think both times I should have kept a little bit more patience and waited a little bit longer.
I see some conversation with Geert already. Has there been some talk? What's his feedback been?
A little bit what you said. It looks tough and there will be coming enough faults, he said. So we have to keep on focusing to the second round.
Realistic to maybe get onto a podium from here still?
This different moment is not realistic. But we see what the other ones do, and we have to come back better the second round.
Best of luck for round 2.
Thank you.
Jür Frieling with some thoughts after the performance from the Scandinavian Vikings. A difficult opening round. 8, 8 and 8 for them takes them to 24 penalties. As we say, Scandinavian Vikings will have a tough second round to try and climb from there. We also managed to speak to Philip Schulzer-Topov from the team from Kingsland Equestrian, Riesenbeck International, your defending 2023 Super Cup champions, your winners, Owen McMahon, Philip Weishout and Christian Kuckuck. Only a single rail going down between all 3 of them, that belonging to Philip Weishout. And because of that, they now find themselves on 4. These are the thoughts then of the team from Riesenbeck International.
Philip, a tough act to follow those Stockholm Hearts who all went clear, but wow, you also delivered.
Yeah, we had really good results now. 1 down out of 3 rounds is basically a good result. Yeah, we'll see what we can do in the second round. But look really forward. The horses jumped all good, and yeah, we look forward to make the best result as possible.
How tense is it watching on and not being on board?
Oh, it's a little bit harder than riding, to be honest.
Listen, good luck for round 2.
Thank you.
We are going to shuffle the studio around. Such is the nature of a GCL Super Cup final. Let's bring Rosie Turner into the studio. Let's bring Fredrik de Backer into the studio to have these conversations, to try and get some of these storylines out as best as we can. Highest winning score, Fredrik, has been 12 before. All of a sudden now, that changes the contrast of what we spoke about with London Knights and the score of 7. We were unsure as to what a winning score would be. We saw early fences going down, and then things all of a sudden took a real turn for the best with teams delivering really strong performances. Those numbers are under threat now, aren't they?
Yeah, when you look at the first two teams, you think, oh, this is going to be a high-scoring round. Now, all of a sudden, it becomes a low-scoring round with the 3 clears from Stockholm, the 2 clears from Riesenbeck, and the 8 penalties from... sorry, what did I say?
From Swans.
From Swans.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit shuffled and turned around now all of a sudden. But it's also interesting now for the course designer what he has to do, because it's now really it's going to come down to time or not. I'm really worried. I'm not worried. I'm really interested about what we're going to jump now. But it was impressive jumping. Malin Jansson's round normally always has to. I'm not gonna say fight, but she always has to find the middle ground, you know. She has to give the mare a bit and take a bit. And now it was technically such a perfect round. Really the display of experience and of quality. And then Philippaerts, I don't know if I just looked it up. Philippaerts was also part of the team that won, of course, the Super Cup in 2021. Also jumped clear with the same horse, with
I was speaking to Jörg Freeling earlier on. We know Scandinavian Vikings, tough first round, most likely over for them from a podium perspective. But Rosie, maybe a thought for you. You were chatting to a lot of the riders. You were talking to those in Kiss and Cry. And to Frederick's point about the course, I don't know what the rest of them told you in Kiss and Cry, but despite having fences down, Jörg took it on himself. He said it's riding mistakes. The course feels as if it's been very well designed. Have you had any reaction to the design, the rideability of the course today?
Yeah, absolutely. A few of them are saying that it was really technical tonight, and they were flimsy. As soon as you touch one of those fences, they're going down. I mean, having said that, McMahon to start with, hitting quite a few and then going clear was just extraordinary. I was worried the whole time. Kiss and Cry is tense, I've got to tell you, because they are all jumping every fence with them. This is what we love about the teams, is that it's not just the people riding, it's everyone there. Everyone wants this, and it's so exciting. But wow, I mean, Stockholm Hearts, they've never been in a final, and now they come into the final and they all jump clear. And I know, Frederick, you were saying to us that no one's ever done that round 1 in the final before.
No, never before did a team in the first round of the final jump 3 clears. It was only London Knights who did in the second round of 2021 to go on and win it.
What a platform, what a platform to go into round 2 without a single fence going down, all on clears, triple clear. We also heard from, comment on the triple clear?
Yeah, no, I was just, I listened to what you said about your feeling about taking it on himself. When I walked the course, I thought this is actually jumpable. You have to shape your 8 into the triple combination. You have to stay to the outside. It's all rideable. It's all riding. It's not that you have to make a decision. Oh, is it 7 or is it 8? Not like in the quarterfinal with into the double combination by the edge of the ring. Nothing like that. So it was jumpable. It's not overly big either. It's big, but it's not a killer track. And then still you see those light mistakes. De Vos would never make that mistake over at fence 3. He discussed that in course walk. Stay on the outside, comes on the inside. Horse still goes up with the hind leg when he has the front rail, or when he has the back rail. Bruynseels with the light mistakes. Yeah, it's... I know that we discussed Kobe with Philipp Weishaupt, how he had to probably, with Kobe on the floodlight, ride to get him over back rails. That's how he rode that triple combination, to get over the back rail and has the front rail out. It's not about the course, it's about how you ride it. And I know that's a very easy explanation, but the point I want to make is that pressure, the pace of this class, how everything comes after each other. Are you with 3 riders in a team? I think a lot of riders feel that it's under pressure, and some rise to the occasion, like Malin Jansson, and some ride 2% less in detail, in perfection. Think about the next fence already. Like Max Kühner. I mean, the horse never had more than a single fence down all season, now has 2 fences down. Yeah. The horse before coming here at, 0.6% clear round rate, 0.6 penalty per round average, and now has 2 fences down because Kühner jumps that vertical and thinks about the next fence. And that's that Super Cup feeling when they're all thinking about, oh yeah, we have to get there, the team, we have to jump triple clear. It's the circumstances, the environment that creates the mistakes, not so much the course, if that makes sense.
That's exactly it. Isn't that the nature of sport? Because like any sporting world, it's that scoreboard pressure that they talk about, that if you were to offer this rider, or any of these riders, these lines at home in their own barn, in their own stables, you would imagine that we're removing all of the paraphernalia around here, Rosie, takes all that, as Frederick says, that pressure that starts to build. that talks so much about how indicative the environment is to actually make what could be doable. It just changes the entire perspective when you have to deal with everything around you.
Oh, totally. I mean, you've got your team on Kiss and Cry, you've got cameras everywhere, really quite close up as well. Down there, you're quite close to the action. You've got the crowd here as well, the lights, the cameras, it's all about it. I think a man that we need to talk about as well is Ben Mayer and Point Break. Wow.
Well, let's double it up and go Daniel Deusser as well.
And Daniel Deusser, they've only jumped clear.
We were talking about this earlier on today, Frederick, and we spoke about this being on the cusp of this historic week in a playoff that no one has ever done. Keeping a very backward eye on both, but happens in round one and they do it all over again. So let's just talk about those rounds, those performances. Despite the Max Kuna errors, the other two men, they have not put quite literally a single foot, or at least a single rail down.
Not a single rail. The round of Ben Mayer, it was not easy.
That's where I try to pull my word back. There were some foots wrong, but the rail stayed up.
It was not perfect. You saw, again, the horse is incredibly talented. And sometimes excess talent can also become a disadvantage. Careful horses that don't want to make a mistake back off, and that's what you see now with Point Break. He really wants to jump clear, but that almost works against him at this point. Mayer really had to build the confidence and drive him with positive drive to keep going. And like here on the vertical, you had the best position to see him jump that upright. Oh, that's pure class. It's like how Hermitage jumped the double of uprights last night. It's just pure class how a horse can jump those fences like that. But Ben Mayer really had to ride strong. The horse is a touch less experienced compared to Killer Queen. For Killer Queen, it was just
bread and butter.
It was beautiful.
Yeah. Talk about a technical man. We were able to catch up with Niels Bruynseels earlier on for Prague Lions. We know that they too find themselves on 12 penalties. And how ironic that it's the young man, Thibaut Spitz, that is leading the line, guiding the ship, jumping clear once again. Faults going down for Peter de Vos and for Niels Bruynseels. But this is some reaction from Niels after their performance.
Niels, I imagine that's what you would expect from a GCL Super Cup final?
Yeah, it's big, it's tough, but still well fair built for the horses. Of course, it's the final. We could expect this today.
A couple fences going down. You want to take me through maybe what was challenging?
My round was not good enough. It's simple as that. Maybe a little touch unlucky on the plank. For the triple combination, he was a little bit too much downhill. I had to balance him more up, that he could go more in the air. And actually finished it quite well.
Thibaut going clear, which I imagine is another great result for the young man. We spoke a lot about him during the LGCT Super Grand Prix, but follows it up with a clear today. Your thoughts on how Thibaut was jumping today?
Yeah, he showed us today for what he's able. He showed it already yesterday. That's why we put him in the team today, because it was not sure he would jump today, but the horse and the rider is in a great form, and he showed it again today.
From what you're seeing today, what are you expecting to be a chaseable score? What is a winning score here tonight, you think?
It's difficult to say. We are only in the first round. We will see what we have to jump in the second round. So it's difficult to say.
Best of luck for round two.
Thank you.
Niels Bruynseels giving us some thoughts and some reactions, saying quite difficult to try and determine what a winning score would be, because the point that Frederick made, it started out, looked to be a really high-scoring round, and all of a sudden, those superb performances from the Stockholm Hearts, from Riesenbeck International, changes that dynamic completely. And once again, we now think back to old GCL Super Cup scoring, then all of a sudden, a score of 8 might go on to win it, a score of 4 might go on to win it, it all depends. Does that then essentially, Frederick, take the Kunststars out of the mix already? In come the 2024 GCL champions. Deservedly so, by the way. Let me just disclaimer what I'm about to say. Deservedly so. They come into this with such expectation, with such hype, with such brilliance and dominance in the season. But they were a little shaky in the semi, shaky in round one now. Just shows you again the difference between being able to do it over a season and what comes to a Super Cup. Talk to me about Kunststars today. It just hasn't really clicked, has it?
Curse of the champion.
Yeah.
Like it happened, it's only Riesenbeck International who won the Super Cup as a champion. And that was a stellar team. We know how many records they broke in 2023. Katin Eckermann, 8 strides in line where everybody did 7, trying to protect Kalamandia, then forced to ride the 5 and the slightly longer 5 into the combination. There she could not protect the mare, has the fault. It's again, it's the 2% that we're talking about. It's only 2% less form, less focus, more pressure. It's not
Slight
much.
rush.
It's just that, but it adds up to what is it, to 16 penalties, and for the victory takes them out of contention, no doubt. Podium, maybe without we're talking about 2 rails to make it onto the podium from any other team. That's still possible.
Well, let's show you where they shape up then for round 2. This is what the start list will look like. That gets underway a little bit later on this evening. Round 2 of the GCL Super Cup final. We know that the Stockholm Hearts will be last to go. We know that Riesenbeck International will be just behind them. But this is how it starts then for the teams in the beginning of that second round. That's due to start, as we say, perhaps in about, 30-odd minutes time or so. We know that it has been a difficult night for Scandinavian Vikings, that they will be the first team to go. And what you would not expect, as mentioned, powered by Iron Dames, Stars will be early to go. As Fredrik said, maybe a clear or two tries to keep a little bit of damage control, but even just a single rail going down takes them to 20, and that all of a sudden shoots them out the water. Prague Lions, difficult as well for the Shanghai Swans, looking for the perfect week here, winning the quarter, winning the semi, but now all of a sudden those 2 faults of Max Kuhner makes it look as if perhaps we are only looking at team 5 and 6. Can we go as deep as Swans on 8, Fredrik, or are we suggesting?
Are you talking winners?
5 and 6, yeah.
Winners. Swans are still in the race. Yeah. Absolutely, I believe so. Are still in the race. Difficult to call. Can't make rider or horse changes. And it's all about what's going to be built there. Is it going to be a speed class? Is it going to be a big Grand Prix class? It'll be at meter 60 level. It have everything in it, but it'll all depend what is going to be built. I find it difficult to call, but reality is nobody ever jumped a clean sheet with 6 clear rounds as a team. So I don't expect Stockholm to jump those 6 clear rounds. The maximum number of clears that we've ever seen were 4. So in theory, 2 rails have to fall with Stockholm, and all of a sudden all those others come in the mix. That's if you look at the historical numbers.
And because round 2 produces clears, all of a sudden you're right. The Swans triple clear in round 2, Rosie. Fredrik suggests that a fence or 2 has to go down, and all of a sudden that that clear can turn into an 8 oh so quickly.
Anything can happen in round 2. We've seen it so many times before where a team goes clear and they come in and it all goes wrong for them. I mean, we hope that doesn't happen for them because they jumped so brilliantly then. I think they really deserve a good night tonight. Wherever they ended up, they deserve a really good night tonight. I mean, looking at Riesenbeck International as well, they are so in it. Anything can happen tonight, and that's what makes it so exciting. But as Fredrik said, it totally depends on what course is built.
I'm just thinking about what is the stat about round 1 leaders going on to win. It was only once that the round 1 leader did not win. So that's also a historical
There's some Super Cup trivia for you. Only once in the history of the GCL Super Cup has the round 1 leader not gone on to win. So based on that, the Stockholm Hearts, powered by H&M We Love Horses, historically are looking at a GCL Super Cup win. Having never made it into the final, can they go on to win the very first final that they ever feature in? Time will tell. We take a quick break. When we return, we start to preview round 2. We get into the ring, we look at the course, we see what's been built, and we give you some build-up to second round of the Super Cup final. We're live in Riyadh. This is GCTV. We'll see you shortly.